Welcome to segment 6. And this evening we are going to talk about how the wonderful liberal agenda pretty much screwed up the Democrats in the midterms.
The recent election.
The recent one, which was a week ago, roughly a week ago. Across the country, there were a number of very liberal propositions. My favorite is the one that went on in Virginia, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the Democrats took it on the chin on a number one. In Ohio, they tried to legalize marijuana. That did not work out so well.
No.
65% of Ohioans said, "Let me think about that." No. Kentucky had a statewide election, and
the Republican won.
It was for governorship.
The governor's seat, and really was not expected to win.
And he won handily.
It was a big surprise, 53%.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which 53% doesn't sound like a lot. Most elections have won by way less percentage than that.
Right. Fairly slim margin.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 or 4% is still a fairly slim margin, but a lot of elections are even slimmer than
Oh yeah, absolutely. Houston, which is it's the mayor.
They have a very liberal mayor.
Yeah, liberal is being kind.
Yeah.
That's being kind.
Well, yeah, she's like militant.
Yeah, she's which makes me wonder how she got elected to begin with.
That is a very good question. Apparently, Houston is not like most of the rest of Texas.
I guess not.
There's like Austin, Houston, and then everything else.
If you're in Houston, you can mess with Texas.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But not on this issue. They wanted wanted to allow men to be able to use women's bathrooms and public showers and stuff. 61%. Now, here's an interesting thing about this. I was just reading about this today. The Republicans did a very good job of calling it the bathroom bill. And it's true, it was part of it, but it actually was a very small part of that whole bill.
Sure.
But the Republicans down there, the conservative contingent, looked at this and they go, what's going to get us the most amount of geography behind us here? And they dubbed it the bathroom bill. That was all it took. And they even said that mayor, that woman even said they played the game better than we did on this one. And that's what happened. 61% of the voters in Houston said, no, men can use men's bathrooms. And it's never, have you noticed how it's not women wanted access to men's bathrooms?
Right.
You don't see that, not the high school thing. It's not women going, well, we want to go to the urinals. No,
Yeah.
that's.
Well, and ironically, I've been thrown out of the men's bathroom. So, it probably should go both ways. But
Did you say you've been thrown out of a men's bathroom?
I have, yeah.
I don't even want to ask.
It was at a dance club, and
Was it like an accident?
Oh, well, that makes all the difference.
there was like a million people in the line for the women's room, and there was no one in line for the men's room. So me and the woman that I was with were like,
necessity.
so yeah, just go to the men's room.
Were you going to stand at the?
No, we were gonna use the stall.
Who threw you out?
We got bounced out.
If I were in a men's room and a couple of hot women walked in,
I know, right?
I would not be throwing them out. I'd be going, want me to help? Can I do anything to?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know about that. That's.
In Asia, a lot of parts of Asia,
Yeah.
it's been that way. It was that way in the 60s.
Very different.
Yeah, it's a different culture.
Interesting. Very
Yeah,
different.
we have these hang-ups. I don't have that hang-up.
You want to help?
No, in fact, I could be like the French. I could just do it in the middle of the street. French, have restrooms out in on the streets.
Really?
Well, I mean not but they have public restrooms.
Like no enclosures?
Oh no, you can't sit and watch people do their thing. But I'm saying if you think about it, it's fairly well planned. They have public restrooms readily available.
Oh, I see.
If you go downtown Chicago.
Kind of like here, like we have in the forest preserve. We have
Right, yeah, but it's not a forest preserve there. It's weird. But
the urban jungle.
yes, urban jungle. But if you're in downtown Chicago and you got to go to the job, you got a serious problem.
Right.
A lot of these places go, restrooms for customers only.
Right.
Yeah. So hose down the window on the outside. I don't know what you do with that. Anyway, the point is, the liberals really took it on the chin in the midterms. The Bloomberg one is just classic.
It really is. And when you look at the history of it, it's like it snowballed, and you know, it's a good thing that he has a bottomless pit of money apparently, because
he's certainly using it.
He apparently has no tolerance level cutoff for how much money he can throw at this, because apparently there's no.
He just keeps doing it.
Yeah, he just keeps doing it. So he desperately wanted to help out the governor in Virginia with gun control efforts.
Now,
So
the governor, we should specify in case people don't, Terry McAuliffe,
right,
who worked for the Clintons during
he's a
the
Democrat.
Clinton administration. Right. Yeah.
So what they needed was, they've got the Republicans have an advantage in the Virginia State Senate. So Bloomberg pumped over $2 million into the Virginia State Senate race in hopes of taking away at least 2 seats, probably hoping for more actually. But when the polls closed and the dust had settled, the GOP had retained all their seats, and Bloomberg and he had failed to secure gun control once again. And ironically, he had done the same thing 2 years ago. He pumped a bunch of money into that same race and lost 2 years ago as well. So yeah, it's actually, it says Bloomberg and Company endorsed candidates only to lose in 97% of Virginia delegate races. So he was also defeated soundly 2 years ago in Virginia, but he just keeps trying.
What is one definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Yeah. Bloomberg is a real whack job. I don't know who's worse, him or Soros. Probably Soros, because he's more insidious.
Well, Soros also has a bottomless pit of money, but not that many people know about him.
That's what I mean. He's kind
more
of
under
sneaky,
the radar.
right?
Yeah.
If you're really into this stuff, you know who he is, but the average person, I don't think does.
Right, exactly. My favorite race that Bloomberg lost was last year in the Milwaukee County Sheriff's race.
Oh, right.
He dumped $150,000 into the race to try to defeat David Clarke, the sheriff that we like in Milwaukee, and other liberal groups poured in another $400,000 to oppose him, and David Clarke still won.
And you know what? The reason David Clarke won, and I've heard people say, well, he's black, but the reason he won is because, like Joe Arpaio, he tells you exactly what he thinks, and he gets it.
Yeah.
He's the guy who went on television and said, we do the best we can, but if I were you, I'd buy a gun and I'd take some shooting lessons.
Why should he be our first black president?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thought whenever I see him talk.
Oh, I know, he's wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful.
He's blunt.
Unfortunately, people like Arpaio and Clarke are reticent to really go beyond law enforcement. I mean, they're they're in politics as far as being sheriffs, but they're really law enforcement officers, and they really have no desire.
They don't want their lives torn to shreds either.
Yeah, they apparently have no desire to be anything other than law enforcement officers.
The money it would take for them to raise people that. You don't realize that, I think, sometimes, the amount of money it takes to run for office.
Right, but if you're a strong candidate, though, I think it's fairly easy to raise that money. I mean, Ted Cruz is not having any problem. He raises over $1 million every time he goes on television.
I think I read somewhere that Ronald dropped to $26 million. I think that's what I saw.
That's just to be governor.
That's to be governor. It's I think the president now is up to about $1 billion.
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I bet you could check that.
I probably could.
Because it was I just read something about that. They're buying, and here's the thing. It shows whatever it is. If it's a half minute, what it shows is a sociopathic need to be that job. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's beyond the pale.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Ron was like 26 million. I'm pretty sure it was. That Bloomberg just keeps trying to buy elections, and he's been successful in some of them, but that he thinks he can just buy an election. He's that arrogant attitude like he had when he was mayor of New York. is scary. It really is scary. Did you find it?
I did. As the 2012 campaign gets underway, a lot of numbers have been thrown around. Obama raised and spent $750 billion, pretty close, in 2008, and it will come close to $1 billion.
$1 billion bucks to be president.
Yeah.
Who has that kind of money?
Right.
If everybody in the country pitched in.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is that so far, like, Donald Trump only recently began to actually raise money. He's been completely self-funded up to this point.
Well, when you have that kind of money. What did he say? I forget what he was, what's the difference between Donald Trump, what was that? He told the joke.
Yeah.
I forget what they were calling him, a wolf or a monkey. What the heck were they calling him for a while? And he told a joke on himself. He said, what's the difference between a monkey and Donald Trump? And he said the answer is the monkey doesn't have $2 billion in a bank account. Which, hey, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so will he learn from this? I doubt it. He'll go on continuing to try and influence elections.
Seems like it.
And he's locked into the gun show loophole thing.
Yeah.
They keep talking about this over and over again. Yeah, I just I don't know. I look at this, and what bothers me, if Hillary Clinton gets elected, because liberals they don't quit. They're like roaches. You can spray them and they keep coming back.
Right.
If the Hildebeest gets elected, it's more of Obama.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we can we survive until he gets out of office to begin with at this rate.
Right. The next year and plus a few months, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough just to get to.
I don't know how we're going to do it. Next week I want to talk about the military. He's gutted the military. He's made us, when 60 Minutes, and I never remember the guy's name because he's not part of the old school guys, but whoever the interviewer was on 60 Minutes is sitting across, just literally facing the president of the United States, and says to him on air, your foreign policy is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's an embarrassment. That's the word he used. Your foreign policy is embarrassment. That's like, they would have never done that.
No.
Ever. Not to a
Republican.
Republican.
That's a liberal show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they would take digs at conservatives,
Sure.
but they would never have sat down with any president before and said, anything about you is an embarrassment. They always, if it's a liberal, they try and burnish it. If it's a conservative, they try and use carefully selected words to say, you're an idiot. He just said it to his face. You're an embarrassment. Oh my God. Democrats are running away from the guy. But the problem is, who's it going to be? Bernie Sanders is going to tank.
Yeah.
He's going to tank, which thank God.
Yeah, luckily I don't think he has any help.
He's he wants to raise people's taxes like 90%.
Right. Yeah.
Good luck on that.
Basically take all your money.
There's a couple other Democratic candidates. Nobody knows who they are. Can you name one of them other than Hillary?
Chafee. There's a O'Malley. I almost said the guy with the Irish.
I think she has too much time on her hands. Really,
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, it's this. I remember everything I hear.
Now, one of those guys, and I don't remember either of their names. One of those guys was not really anti-gun.
That was Jim Webb. He dropped out.
But you see how simple that is? See how simple that is?
Well, this is what everyone that I know said after the first Democrat debate. Okay, most of my friends are Republican, so everyone I know basically on Facebook was like, "What the hell was Jim Webb doing up there with those other people?"
Well, yeah, because when he said that, I was shocked.
Basically, and I think he said some other stuff too. I don't know if it was like sort of quasi anti-abortion, or I'm not sure what else he said that didn't really go along with the platform as it now stands. But like pretty much all my Republican friends were like, which of these things is not like the other? Like everybody said, like if I had to vote for a Democrat, it'd be Jim Webb,
Yeah.
I think I sent you the article that Doug Giles is a pastor, and he is also a Republican pundit. He writes all these articles on his website, and I think I forwarded one to you. And it was basically the title was all wrong, but it was like, you know, decent people like Jim Webb, especially. Apparently he was in the military, so he was prior military, and that's very unusual.
How unliberal.
Yeah, it's very unusual for prior military people to be Democrats, and he basically was saying like why Jim Webb is like so out of place in the Democrat Party, and people like him need to like come to the light, you know, come to the bright side, and but yeah, that just, you know, any decent person is completely out of place in the Democrat Party.
He made a very cogent point, and the point was, and you could see Hillary bristling. He said, you know, you got these people who have private bodyguards, basically probably talking to Hillary as well as the president and everything else, right? And he said, the common man, the average man, doesn't have that capability. They want to own a firearm to protect themselves. It was like you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what?
Well, and actually Bernie Sanders too, even though he's a total socialist, and this is a complete disconnect, but he's from like Vermont or something, right? So, and Vermont is very pro-gun. And so he's like, well, people from my state have a different opinion, you know.
But he said, I told my constituents that I'm against assault weapons. We should have a ban and all that. The interesting thing is Vermont has an almost spotless record of people owning guns.
Right.
I mean, you can't say anything bad about them. So.
And they have very little gun control to speak of.
They have almost zero gun control. If you're a law-abiding citizen, you can walk into a gun store, buy a gun, buy a holster, put it on, walk out. And there's statistics.
Nice.
You forgot about the ammo.
Oh no, you can't get ammo. They don't sell you ammo.
You can carry an unloaded gun.
Just the gun, yeah. It's just, okay, anything else pithy?
No, I think
That's
that's
it.
it. I named all the Democrat candidates, so
That was impressive.
that was my memory test for today.
It makes me think you got too much time on your hands.
Maybe we are still looking for sponsors for SHOT Show.
I was gonna say, I saw you inhale, so if something was about to come out.
I know, right?
Something was gonna come out. Sponsors for SHOT Show, that's true. We're gonna go to SHOT. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the SHOT Show, which is the big firearm show.
Trade show.
Literally in the world. It's a trade show. It's not open to the public. You have to be in the industry. And we're going to do interviews. In fact, if you have thoughts on something you would like to hear, put it on our Facebook page or email us, whatever, and we will go. We'll actually be shooting. That's a bad choice of words.
Video.
We're actually going to be videoing. We're going to be shooting people at the SHOT Show. We will be videotaping at
digital.
on what?
It's all digital. We don't
It's all visual, yeah. On our it'll be on Facebook and YouTube.
Correct.
So if you have things that you would like to hear about. 2 years ago, when ammunition, you couldn't find it, we went and talked to a couple of ammo manufacturers and interviewed them and got their feedback as to why it was. So we can do that again, but there's always a but. On Target Radio is got a very tight budget, as in none. So
as in the red.
any contribution that you might like to make, and we had one come in this week, we thanked him on the show. But any contribution you'd like to make, you can go to what's our website, Fred? otmediagroup.net. OT or com, whatever. You can net the com or com the net. otmediagroup.net. And for $5, $25, 100,000, whatever you're comfortable with. Bill Gates could be listening.
That's true.
Of course, Bill Gates would not give us money for that.
No, probably not.
No.
But here's the point. Regular people, it's a trade show, so regular people can't go. So we're going to go as your liaison, and we're going to report all the great, cool things that are there back to you. So that is the benefit that we offer to you.
Right. We're also looking for corporate sponsors too.
Corporate sponsors. We're looking for,
Right. Everybody's talking about commercials.
Exactly.
We
That's
need
right.
advertising.
Yes, advertising. Corporate sponsors. or whatever.
See,
It's kinda similar.
I'm the executive producer. I don't honestly know what's going on.
Nuts and bolts, not his thing.
Not my thing. Are we done?
Yes.
We're done. But we are gonna talk about the military being gutted on next week's show.
Yeah.
Because that's close to my heart. Until then,
Happy
thanks for
Veterans
listening.
Day.
Thanks for listening to segment 6.